What's your favorite color?
Dude, it's yes or no questions. I just said it.
Right, okay, yeah. Goff, is your favorite color teal?
Welcome to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy, and let's talk about all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things that you might have missed in episode 6 of Peacemaker, Murn After Reading. The title of the episode is a play on Murn After Reading, which, yes, is a 2008 Coen brothers movie.
The guy?
But the expression refers more to keeping secrets and spy stuff.
This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Basically the same thing as this.
La 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 la, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hear a thing.
So, in the context of this show, it refers to all the secrets that people are keeping. Most of the team knows that Murn is a butterfly. Now they're keeping it from Peacemaker. Peacemaker hid Goff from the team, Goff is hiding her true intentions, Leotta is working for Waller and planted the Peacemaker diary, Captain Locke is working for Murn. There are a lot of secrets to keep straight. But this episode ends with James Gunn metaphorically cutting through the Gordian knot, creating clear-cut heroes and villains for the final 2 episodes. Now this was, for my money, the funniest line of the series.
What was her real name?
Unlike humans, we don't name our genitalia.
Think about the amount of groundwork the show had to lay just to get that joke to work. It's great writing. Murn then says,
You can't pronounce it with a human tongue.
which seems like a play on this.
To pronounce it correctly, I would have to pull out your tongue.
And this moment really made me empathize with Murn when he says,
I took his freedom and his face, and every day I dread waking up to his memories.
So in the past couple videos, I theorized that the butterflies were actually good because Judo Master says this.
Butterflies, they're not what you think.
And that Murn was the evil one who wanted to conquer the Earth. Maybe I had that backwards. But I think that the butterflies think that they're acting for the good of humanity. We know that Goff was
A radical proponent of climate change.
So the butterflies see that the humans are destroying the Earth and they think they can do better. So they bond with our leaders to make the world a better place. This is why Goff makes the peace sign. As far as she's concerned, they do come in peace. Maybe they only want to assimilate the leaders of humanity and leave everyone else alone. I mean, when you look at that bunch of knuckleheads in DC, is that such a bad idea? Yes, the butterfly takeover of the body is violent, but so are many acts of nature that spur on positive growth and change. Guys, am I about to make a Butterflies Are Right video?
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords.
Then we shift to Peacemaker at a career day for the daughter of the janitor that we met in episode 1.
Get out of here, mother.
You a fan?
There's no superhero called Peacemaker.
Chris is finishing up the story of him defeating Kite Man, which we saw mentioned in an article that we saw at his house last week. Kite Man is a Batman villain who is low tier at best, like maybe a step above the Condiment King.
Drop your forks and prepare to cower before the uncanny Condiment King.
And the joke here is that Kite Man was about to defeat himself anyways.
Wouldn't he have crashed anyway due to gravity?
The reason Peacemaker's telling this story is because it's when the newspaper labeled him a superhero, which is how he still wants to see himself. He also talked about the Blackheart Ruby, which is not in DC Comics. But he does have the villain Eclipso on his dartboard, and Eclipso uses the Heart of Darkness gem as a weapon, so maybe they're reaching. Get back on track. Sorry. There are lots of fun touches and Easter eggs around the room. The class is learning about renewable energy, maybe because of the influence of the butterflies who are in positions of power. Right here we see a poster of the solar system that reads Know Your Neighbors, maybe another nod to the extraterrestrial butterflies. On the blackboard we see what is your favorite shape and what animal is in the shape, which I thought was funny because later they talk to an animal inside a rectangle and ask its favorite color.
Is your favorite color teal?
The letters above the chalkboard are written on hexagons, which could be a reference to the butterfly's hive culture, or it's a sign that Mephisto has left cinematic universes and is behind everything.
Not the beast!
The names he gives the kids are hilarious. Gender-swapped Alfred E. Newman refers to the Mad Magazine mascot, and this kid asks about Flash and wears a Flash shirt. Peacemaker says,
Like everybody else who's ever met him, I thought he was an unbearable D-bag.
and he's right, the DCEU Flash is kind of annoying.
What is brunch? You wait in line for an hour for essentially lunch.
They also ask about Wonder Woman, and Chris says that this girl is wearing a Canadian tuxedo, which is a jean jacket with jeans. And we also flash back to the Peacemaker's origin, the moment when he made a vow to become a man of peace. But my favorite gag in the scene was that the kids are clearly studying eagles. There is a bald eagle display on the wall. They've made their own eagle drawings, and even though the janitor tells us that animals are allowed in the classroom, Chris didn't bring Eagly. Back at his trailer, Chris admits why he kept Goff, and also lets slip the theme of the show.
Sometimes Sometimes I just think I'm insecure in my masculinity, so I'm making up for it by having a dangerous pet.
The whole show is about him trying to prove that he's the kind of man that his father wants him to be, instead of embracing the sensitive man that he actually is. You know, the kind of man who can play Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home on a piano. Then he and Vigilante name drop a lot of movies. There's the Vin Diesel movie Pitch Black, the birthing scene in Alien, and they also reference E.T.
E.T. Phone Home.
And the song in Close Encounters. Then it goes off the rails with the Three Amigos.
The Three Amigos!
I wonder if Adrian said that because he was thinking of him, Chris, and the Butterfly as Three Amigos. And also, which is a 1929 surrealist short film co-directed by Salvador Dali with a really freaky scene where they cut through a woman's eyeball, but they actually just found a woman who was missing an eye and put a cow's eye in there to get the shot. This film might have been an influence on James Gunn and the gore in the show, I don't know, but you should see the movie though. Become correct, don't get high first. He also mentions the sex comedies Porky's and Porky's 2.
It was last seen hanging out in the girl locker room at Angel Beach High School.
Adrian's ringtone is Aqua's Barbie Girl.
Life in plastic is fantastic.
I know, right? It's a bop. Then the cops raid Chris's trailer and find the diary that Waller had Leotta plant. Turns out that she just wanted to set him up for murdering all these people. And also the diary includes the claim that they were aliens. Now remember, we've already heard a right-wing nut on TV talk about alien invasions.
Extraterrestrial beings who want nothing other than our civilization to fail.
So Waller is actually admitting the truth in a way that makes Peacemaker sound insane, so people won't believe him or the existence of butterflies. Then he'll be right back in Bellevue where he can serve her on the Suicide Squad. It's pretty genius. Now we pointed this out in another video, but the Wayne Foundation sticker on the diary does not match the one that we see in the DCEU, but it does match the one from the Nolan Batman universe, implying that this show, Peacemaker, could take place in a totally different universe, or that the crew just weren't that worried about continuity between the movies. Man, you know what? For a small suburb of Coast City, Evergreen has a big police department, doesn't it? Then Goff flies into song, a brilliant way to tie together the show's many threads. Afterwards, she really doesn't seem malevolent, more like a parent who just knows what's best for her kids.
But in the end, this is better for everyone.
Locke says that the cops were killed by the Hamburglar.
Red hair, striped shirt with a red tie, had a black mask, and I think it was a fedora.
And I actually never realized that the Hamburglar was ginger. Or actually, I don't even know what a grimace is. I mean, if you have any thoughts, I don't know, like tweet or comment. I kind of want to know now, what's a grimace? Like, are we supposed to buy a grimace from McDonald's? Did McDonald's used to sell grimaces?
Get back on track.
Sorry, you're right. Economos figures out that the cow is kept at Coverdale Ranch. This seems like a nod to David Coverdale, lead singer of Whitesnake. When James Gunn started filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, he quoted the great poet David Coverdale saying, There's a poster here for a fictional movie called Privateer and the Admiral Seaman, which is a joke about seamen. But also, a privateer is someone who engages in acts of robbery during a time of war, which excuses their crimes. Kind of like Peacemaker murdering people while at war with the Butterflies. Also, there is a DC Comics anti-hero called the Privateer who was briefly a member of the Suicide Squad in the original John Ostrander books. Oddly enough, one of his enemies was Eclipso, that villain who's on Peacemaker's dartboard. Now in the comics, the Privateer's real name is Mark Shaw, and originally he was part of the Manhunter cult. Now the Manhunters are a group of interstellar androids who were created by the Guardians of the Universe to protect the galaxies. But androids being androids, they malfunctioned and were later replaced with the Green Lantern Corps. When Goff summons the alien ships to her, she lets out a scream that seems lifted heavily from the 1978 remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a movie that runs heavily in this show's DNA. I loved this whole sequence. It's a perfect mix of messed up, bloody, funny, with great music. It is 100% James Gunn. Even the aliens in the hallways trying to figure out how to smile. And I liked that the song Monster was intercutting between the monsters from space and also the other monsters, the clan members. It's a nice touch that their hoods are actually pillowcases, both because they look cheap and stupid, and because it imitates the horns of White Dragon's helmet. And as we've mentioned before, White Dragon is a racist villain from DC Comics. I mean that the villain is a racist, not that the villain's existence is racist. Leotta and her wife talk about going back to Gotham, which of course is the hometown of Batman, but it's also the hometown of Leotta's mother, Amanda Waller. She started off as a poor single mom, then worked her way up in government to be one of the people pulling the strings. When Harcourt engraves the Dove of Peace, she tells Chris,
I'm not sure right now is the best time for you to go all Mahatma on us.
A reference to pacifist activist Mahatma Gandhi, which is another great movie. So, do you remember what Economos said when they moved into the video store?
Oh, sweet, we have a piano. That's useful for Black Ops.
And now, we know why. So John Cena can show off that he learned Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home. But why this song? There are so many hair metal songs with haunting piano melodies. Could have been November Rain or Winds of Change. Well, because this video store is his home now. His trailer is compromised, and he's now stuck with the team. And yet, he's also outside the team because they're keeping a secret from him.
What the is going on?
Well, that's...
You're not gonna say it?
Say what?
That video store Easter egg you mentioned in every video. The one about the store being named after Troma director Fred Cannonlader, and James Gunn worked at Troma, and so did you.
No, they know about that already.
Who knows?
They do, the people out there.
Who is it you think you're talking to?
Well, that's all the Easter eggs that I found, but if you found any, let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.